Is Penacony actually this wonderful dreamland with some shenanigans going on in the dream world, or has it always been just a farce? It's been a prison all along, and what we actually have on Penacony is some Shutter Island shit going on. And is Order the dark side of harmony? And what actually happens to an Eon that's dead or has been absorbed by another? Eons are intelligent, godlike beings who have somehow fused with a metaphysical path itself. Once they ascend, they use the imaginary energy to stabilize their path. Only one entity or being can rule over one concept, and that is why two Eons cannot embody the same idea. You can see what happens in such cases, like with Ena, the Eon of Order, that was absorbed by Zype, the Eon of Harmony. But can an Eon really truly die? And being absorbed, what does that actually mean? Because most of these paths are concepts that exist already, such as evil. You can kill an evil person or entity, but evil itself, the concept of evil, will live on, such as other paths like harmony, order, preservation, destruction, all concepts that existed long before that Eon ever ascended. So what exactly does this all mean? And can harmony be a prisoner within its own dreamscape? Has order infiltrated the family and been orchestrating and puppet mastering all the events in Penacony, a utopia dream world that was once a prison? Maybe the dream is just another prison. So I'm feeling incredibly frustrated but validated at the same time. I had this whole video already recorded, I even had a thumbnail made and everything, and already started editing it, and we get leaks for 2.2. These leaks kind of validate my theory that I had, but also sort of take the wind out of my sails a little bit, because now it's less of a theory and more of an educated guess, which is unfortunate, but I'm glad I was on the right track at least, and I kind of have to start my video over, but use this new info. So spoilers, if you do not want to be spoiled for anything 2.2, click off the video now, but I can't very well talk about this now without acknowledging the leak that we have for 2.2. Otherwise, the video just doesn't make any sense. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So I wanted to talk about the connection between Sunday, the family, and harmony itself. That was the original topic. Death in Penacony. What Penacony actually is. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me what Gallagher wants. The family have monopolized the dreamscape in Penacony, and Gallagher's obviously connected to the watchmaker in some way, trying to put a stop to the family, and the family in Sunday call him out for infiltrating that family, having different attributes of family members. And one of the main points of my theory before these leaks was that Sunday would be the bad guy in the end. He would be the ultimate villain of Penacony, whether somebody's pulling his strings or he's orchestrating this. He has a lot of biblical and angel-like references about him, and something just never seems quite right about him. And now with the new leak footage of his actual boss fight that's leaked in the files to have his name attached to that boss fight, and if you actually look at the boss itself, it looks uncanny, the similarities to Ena, the Eon of Order that was absorbed by the Eon of Harmony. I don't know how, is very, very connected with Penacony in general. Sunday has eyes all over his design that resemble the symbol of order, plus him being a control freak, along with the family monopolizing Penacony. There was even a side quest. We have physical proof of the family manipulating the emotions and memories of their workers to keep them from quitting their jobs, tampering on freedom and harmony itself, the individual will of the citizens in order to maintain the perfect order of their fantasy dreamland. Order being the dark side of harmony. Plus, like I said, Sunday seems like a control freak obsessed with order. Even the Penacony map has the symbol of order. I think we can all agree at the very least that the situation on Penacony is weird. To take this one step further, like I talked about, the actual gameplay leaked footage of Sunday's boss battle looks exactly like the puppet that Ena, that Eon, controls. The Eon itself being the eye in the background, the puppet master. We're gonna go into detail on this Eon itself because there's a lot of information about it, but isn't it uncanny the similarities? Like, it looks exactly like this Eon. It resembles it a lot. Like, if you asked me to design an emanator for Ena, this is what it would look like to me. Again, this is just my thoughts. I'm not confirming anything here, but it just seems uncanny. Also, there's a lot of biblical references to this Eon. The eye of a biblically accurate looking angel, the halo, and Sunday also having the theme of an angel might be another connection. And he has a lot of eyes in his design. I know what you're thinking. How is this possible? This Eon is dead or was absorbed long ago. How can this be possible? Can this Eon manifest through harmony? Is there different rules within the dream? Maybe an Eon that was once deceased or absorbed can manifest in a dream world because the rules are different? Has harmony been able to call upon order in certain situations after absorbing it? Because it's a dream world, has order manifested itself and infiltrated the family, pulling the strings behind the scenes? Or was the Eon of Order ever absorbed to begin with? We're gonna circle back to that, because let's look at Penacony for a second. We know that it was a prison ran by the IPC until all of the prisoners with Memoria, this dreamlike essence, formed this cohesive, coherent, and collective dream world where everyone was living within a dream. And obviously prisoners would desire freedom and harmony, living in peace, whatever you want to call it. So the Eon of Harmony actually came to Penacony, and this is where the IPC lost full control. And eventually it'd be like this dream-like utopia with the prisoners and then newcomers coming in, living in this dream world. And these prisoners would end up being the ancestors of the family who run Penacony's affairs right now. We gotta break down the connection here, because in that boss fight in the footage, you can actually see Sunday reach out to Harmony. There's a lot of cool little Easter eggs within that fight and a lot of little details, which doesn't surprise me at all, because I didn't trust him from the beginning. I thought he was a little bit odd, and I didn't think for a second he was dead. The Memory Zone meme killing Sunday means nothing, because we've already had a character that's been impaled by that monster. I honestly believe that that monster sends you to the real Dreamscape, where the Watchmaker's legacy is. And because Sam, Firefly, told Akron that she can't dream, and I already explained in a video recently why I think that is, why Firefly can't dream, I think that lack of being able to dream is why she couldn't reach the real Penacony despite being impaled. I think Sunday is actually orchestrating everything, but not really. Because when it comes to Eon, even the game itself doesn't really know or understand a lot of things when it comes to Eons. There's a lot of vagueness and gray area. The Eon of Beauty is dead, but still has followers. There are Eons that have been missing, but still have followers, like the Trailblazers. And then there are Eons who have been outright killed or absorbed. But what happens to that Eon's path? When they disappear, go missing, absorbed, or die? Or does that path already exist in the universe as its entity? For example, Harmony existed before the Eon of Harmony. The concept of Harmony is just that, a concept, just like destruction. That existed in the universe before Nanook ascended to Eonhood. And when Eons have colliding paths or very similar paths, one can absorb the other. And that is exactly what happened with Ena and Zype. Shipe? I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm probably not. The Eon of Harmony absorbed the Eon of Order around the end of the Swarm disaster long ago. But that's where the gray area comes in, because how can Ena, an Eon that was absorbed by Harmony, be pulling any strings? Well, this is where a lot of different options come into play. Let's talk about this Eon. What happened before Harmony absorbed it? And it was one of the primary Eons who gathered a coalition of Eons to wage war against Tazeroth, the Eon of the Swarm, specifically recruiting the Eon of Preservation. Order trying to convince Preservation how to end the disaster. And it was recorded in many instances that Ena was a control freak in their dedication to order, primarily appearing to mortals using the form of a giant statue, in the likeliness of a holy woman. But we know that's not its true form, which looks exactly like Sunday's boss fight. I'm telling you, I can't be the only one seeing this. And there's freaking eyes everywhere in Penacony, I'm telling you. Anyways, Ena was also not known as a good Eon. Definitely was a lifesaver during the Swarm disaster, but like any Eon, I mean, if the design wasn't a dead giveaway, Eon is known as a puppet master and a master manipulator, keeping order at all costs. And like other Eons that isolate themselves, don't really reach out with other Eons or individuals, even mortals, Ena had no problem doing any of those things, sometimes actually reaching out to Eons that are very much isolated, trying to orchestrate different events and have certain individuals or Eons placed in certain situations. And because we have almost no information on Eons, what a death actually means, how that path lives on after they're dead, because like we just talked about, you can't kill the concept of destruction because the under destruction doesn't exist anymore. Like, there's so many questions about being absorbed and all that stuff. Is it possible that this Eon, one of the most ancient Eons, let itself be absorbed on purpose? Is this part of some puppet master greater plan? I am genuinely asking. Like I said, we have almost no information on this concept, but I can simply not look away at the fact that besides these new leaks that definitely reinforce this connection, how would this even be possible if this Eon doesn't exist anymore? Does the path define the Eon, or does the Eon define the path? If somebody were following the path of preservation and preservation would be absorbed by another Eon, would they no longer follow preservation? Or would they be indoctrinated into that new path that was absorbed? Like if you were a path strider of order and then harmony absorbed your path's Eon, would you now be on the path of harmony? See, it's incredibly touchy subject, but I have to assume that order goes hand in hand with harmony, otherwise those paths wouldn't have collided in the first place. It's also been hinted at that Eons are manifestations of these concepts as well. I don't think they can truly be killed, but just be very dormant, and that these Eons aren't necessarily evil, good, or bad, but they have to fully embrace what they represent, like destruction. Nanook doesn't destroy things because he wants to, he has to. That is just what he is and what he does. He embodies that. So now that I successfully left you with more questions than answers, so sorry about that. What's going on in Penacony here? What do we actually see if we take the magnifying glass off and we look on a bird's eye view? In Penacony right now, for the first time ever, we have the family that's invited, that is orchestrated Nihility and the Remembrance, the Memo Keepers. We have the Trailblazers, or the Nameless. We have the IPC and the Stellaron Hunters present. And on its way we have a Hunter, Boothill of the Galaxy Rangers, even the Enigmata with Gallagher. So many people on this stage, orchestrated all here. The stage is set. The dream finale will bring total chaos to Penacony. But what is the end game here? And if Order is pulling the strings behind all of this, honestly, all of this and what we've seen in Penacony fits the MO of this Eon to a T. Because this Eon is one of the most ancient Eons before it was absorbed by Harmony. Ena no longer exists because of Harmony absorbing it. But we know with Hoyoverse, there's always more to it than we see. I don't think for a second anyone thought that Sunday was truly dead. Or Sunday could just be an emanator of Harmony. But then why does this boss fight look exactly like this puppet controlled by Ena? And we haven't even talked about the Seed of Destruction that is yet to manifest. Does a Stellaron play anything within Penacony? Even the ravens that we see, the purple raven in 2.1, ravens are a symbol of wisdom and secret knowledge, symbolizing communication and death to the underworld, or that could be subliminal for the real Penacony, where the watchmaker's true legacy is, why everyone needs to die in the dreamscape to reach the real Penacony, how it's been hidden by layers of dream by the family who have monopolized this planet and have orchestrated this entire chapter in Honkai Star Rail. But I'm going to wrap the video up there, because besides all this, we're really not sure at the end of the day. All but certain that Sunday's the final boss. It's been pretty well leaked at this point, unless the developers put a false name in the files to throw us off and throw leakers off, which I doubt they'd go that far. This is just a few options and connections that I've made. There's uncanny resemblance from this Eon and everything we see in Penacony, the Memory Zone monster with its eyes. But thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. At the very least, I hope you found this interesting. It's always fun to talk about these different deep lore topics, because, you know, that is why we play these games. They're fun to follow. The story's always interesting. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I do appreciate y'all watching this far. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Help grow the channel. I will be covering 2.2 extensively, so stay tuned for all of that. I'm excited. And as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.